With Azov, the way it's different to other units is that we don't just give you a rifle, 4 magazines and throw you at the front. We do not send you unless you are ready to be sent, because if you're a useless asset to me on the battlefield, you might as well be in Barbados sipping sangrias. So until you're ready, I will do whatever is necessary, and my team, when I say I mean my team, will do whatever is necessary in order that you are ready to go to the battlefield in the position that 1, you want, 2, you're going to serve us best in, and 3, that you're going to do best at. So, waiting for the recruits now. It is Azov. They are patriots. There is things that they expect regarding discipline that others don't. You need to turn up smart, pockets, pouches, pleasantries, on time, squared away, and switched on. They are expecting this and nothing else.
Hi folks, my name is Yevhen, call sign Seattle. I'm International Cooperation Lead at Azov 1. This is the official fundraising unit of the Azov Brigade. And today I'm talking to Sergeant Jordan Davis, call
Correct.
sign Reg. So Reg, where you're from? Tell us a bit about your background.
I am Reg. I am from the United Kingdom. I'm a Welshman. We are very proud to be Welsh. I'm from South Wales, from a place called Swansea. A bit about my background. I always knew I wanted to join the military. So through school, my only purpose was to get through school in order to join the military. Work hard, get my head down, get what I need to get into the military and to complete the aptitude test. That is it.
Right. Where did you study for the military? Did you major in a specifically military specialization?
At first I was infantry.
Mhm.
I did infantry for a long time. And then I realized that once I was going to have my child, I was going to leave eventually. So I retraded actually to Chinook engineer. So I was a helicopter engineer my last few years, in order to get the qualifications so that when I come out of the military, I have some skills to use in civilian land.
Awesome. So you served in the British Army. How come you decided to join the army in the first place? You say that it was your big sort of passion growing up. What was the motivation behind that interest in military service?
I'll be completely honest here, if I'm looking very deep. I grew up without a solid family. I'd heard stories about people who had been in the military who had come out and meet someone who they've never met before from the military somewhere, and instantly they are brothers, yeah? I wanted that. Also, I watched Pearl Harbor.
And that was like the final straw. You realized that's what I
Yes.
want from
I watched Pearl Harbor. That led me on to Band of Brothers, and I was like, hell yeah, baby.
Reg,
Mm-mm.
what is the story behind your call sign?
So in the British military, I was infantry at first.
Hmm.
Then I retraded to aircraft engineer
Hmm.
on Chinooks with
Yeah.
helicopters. And I had basically been in a while joining a group of guys who had only just gone through basic training.
Uh-huh.
Now, they had gone through basic training together and they all knew each other's names and who they were, but they
Yeah.
didn't know me. I was new because I'd just been inserted into their specialization course.
Yeah.
So rather than knowing my name, because trying to remember my name when they all knew each other and didn't know me, they just said, "You're Reg from the regiment. You're now Reg." I definitely have two personalities.
Hmm.
One is Jordan, one is Reg.
Yeah.
Jordan is when I'm at home with my wife and with people I love.
Yeah.
Reg is when I'm with my men.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd say it suits me well. I When I'm at work, I actually don't really respond to Jordan that
Hmm.
well, to be honest.
Have you been to Ukraine before the full-scale invasion? Have you had some friends here? Did you know people in Ukraine?
I never met a Ukrainian before I got here, but I knew about Ukraine because of the color revolution, as the Russians like to dub it, which sparked my interest. I then also followed the events in 2014 because I believed, wow, these people, like, they started picking on the students and millions went to the street and said, no, you don't mess with our young people. And that's something that I'm not sure in the UK we would do. So after Maidan, it was very much on my map. And then I was starting to follow what was happening here. And then it was opening my eyes to actually what Russia are doing. I was starting to open my eyes to the fact that there was Georgia, there was Transnistria, there was all these different places that they were having these influences in. And that started to really open my eyes to who Russia are actually.
Speaking of that, the war in Ukraine has been going on for 11 years already. Do you remember your first thoughts when the war initially broke out in 2014? What were you thinking at that time?
At the time I was serving in the British military, so I was thinking, oh shit, I'm getting deployed. Um, in fact, it was kind of excitement because I was young and dumb and thought that it was going to be like Call of Duty. That's all I thought about it really. The more days that went on, the more I thought they won't deploy us there because it's not worth it because of NATO, Article 5, this kind of thing. And then I realized that maybe we will just support materially, yes.
When and why did you decide to join the fight in Ukraine?
So I gained a lot of skills in the British military. When I came into civilian street, or civilian land, I had a lot of skills which were just so redundant at that point. Like, if I go into a job interview and I say, well, I can hit a 50 pence piece from 100 meters using iron sights, to them that means nothing. So I retrained as an engineer and I got what I thought and what most people would think would be a good life. I earned good money, I had my own house, I liked my car, I had no mansion, I had no Ferrari, but I liked what I had, but I'd never been so miserable. When I saw that this kicked off and I saw the news and what was happening here and that this is Europe and that our ancestors also fought for this, I thought, this is going to be a hard decision because I have a child here, but I might have to be the bad guy right now because I know my child will be okay here. Those children won't. However, I do have the skills. What am I going to do? Am I going to sit here redundantly using those skills, working for some dude who maybe pays me pittance enough to turn up to work to some civilian job where he's a millionaire and I'm just about scraping by? Or am I going to go and I'm going to really try and help in any way? And I'll serve borscht, I'll serve soup. I'm not above serving soup. If that's what I needed to do, that's what I would have done.
So it was about personal motivation and personal involvement. Yaraj, how did you first meet a fighter from the Azov Brigade? Who was that guy? How did you meet him?
I've always been interested in Azov, so I was always following their Instagram and watching their videos. And then I came across a YouTube channel called Different Breed from a guy called Vegas, and he was combat reviewing the combat footage of Azov. And I was like, damn, those boys are good. So, surprisingly, when I went into the office to inquire about joining,
Yep.
I met Vegas.
Yeah.
And I was like, damn, dude, you're the guy I seen on the videos? And he was like, yes, I am. And yeah, that's pretty much my initiation into the Azov structure.
Awesome, awesome. How did your family and close ones reacted to your decision? Was it hard for them to process that?
It was very negative. One or two of them said, when I told them, hey, I got something to tell you, they said, we already know you're going to Ukraine. The others were like, we really hate this. We think you're crazy.
What about your former brothers in arms in the British Army? How did they take it? What did they say?
50-50. Some of them were like, because a lot of them joined for the degree, so they were like, I don't want to go to war. But the other half were like, anything you need, we'll give you. Anything you want, we'll go to stores, we'll get for you. Take the fight to the enemy, show them what Britain means.
So You came to Ukraine. Which unit did you join after you came here? Can you tell us a little bit about that story?
So initially, I joined Ivan Bahun Brigade. Um, there, there was a lot of problems because the Legion was thrown together so quickly that we were still working out a lot of the teething problems.
I know you have a Ukrainian wife. Can you tell us how you met her? How did you set up a family here in Ukraine?
Yes, yes. So, she was my barber. I tried to flirt with her, but was too nervous. I eventually got the courage to say, "Do you want to go for a coffee?" And she went, "No." So, a few days later, she found my Instagram through the fact that I had booked the appointment through Instagram, and messaged me and said, "Hey, maybe that coffee?" And I was like, "Gotcha,"
Yeah.
you know. And ever since then, it's just been a developing love story. Almost like you hear from your grandfathers from World War II, where there was no technology, there was no nothing. It was during the war.
Yeah.
It was really emotional, and they stuck together their whole lives. And that's pretty much how it's going. We've just recently had a child. I saved a dog from the front line, so we have a dog, Rex, who is a German Shepherd. We have a home. We set up our lives, and I am permanently settled in Kharkiv, Heroyev Kharkiv, which is, Kharkiv of here, or Misto Heroyev, the city of heroes, which I consider my city.
Big thanks to all the Kharkiv people who keep on supporting Defense Forces and Azov as well. What did you think about the future prospects in terms of your role in Ukrainian military after serving already for some time with Ivan Bohun? Did you already understand in which specific branch you wanted to serve, which specific specialization you would like to develop?
I was open to all. At that point, I'd already accepted my death, to be honest. I thought I'd be dead within 3 weeks to a month. Once I survived that and then had a chance to actually think about what I want to do, I like reconnaissance. I did a lot of reconnaissance. I like infantry work. I like assaults. But I also like affecting the battlefield as a whole, more tactically, more operationally. So now I am a fire support officer or a fire control officer who controls all the assets in the battle space for the guys on the ground.
So why did you decide to enlist with the Azov Brigade after testing already your skills on the battlefield? Why did you choose Azov?
With Azov, there was a lot of disinformation about Azov. But what I saw when I actually worked with them is that they were nothing but the most professional troops I've seen in this whole country. And therefore, even though we had language differences, our SOPs were so similar. They had mission briefs, they had 5-part orders, they had all this stuff that we would understand. And after that, I thought, that would be really somewhere I'd like to go, actually.
So it was that military culture and that structure that resonated with you and with
Of
your
course,
experience, right?
and also the patriotism. So if we're going to be completely honest, a lot of the dudes in Ukraine left. A lot of them don't want to go and fight. In Azov, you only have guys who chose to fight. And that's what I want to be around. I want to be around professionals, and they are professional.
Man, can you tell us a little bit more about your hobbies? When you have a free moment of your time, what do you enjoy doing? Either related or not related to military craft?
So related to my military craft, I'm a huge nerd for it.
Hmm.
So I create lesson plans, I design operations, I design exercises,
Yeah.
I design training for the guys. I genuinely enjoy that. I genuinely enjoy that. Not related. Again, I like fitness.
Yeah.
I am wearing a big coat, so I might not look as fit as I am, because of the cold. But I enjoy a lot of combat sports,
Yeah.
preferably boxing.
Yeah.
I like rugby, but unfortunately, I played rugby when I was younger. Everyone else grew and I didn't, so I had to stop that because they were all, you know, a lot bigger than I was. I played a lot of football, and I know that in Europe, football is a big thing here as well. So whenever I can, I try and join the Ukrainians in playing football, not like officially, but like try and join in with them and
Yeah.
stuff like that. I like to run a lot. I like to tab a lot, which is a British term for tactical advanced battle, which is an American ranger shuffle where you put a big ruck on your back and you go and you run up and down hills.
What's
That's
the
what I like to
distance?
do.
For how long?
It's usually up to about 12 kilometers.
That's impressive.
It can go up to 30, but I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to do 30 here. I usually go from 6 to 12,
That's a demanding thing.
and I carry around about 20 to 25 kilograms usually.
Great, great. The Azov International Battalion is currently in the process of recruiting and training new fighters. Can you tell us a little bit more about your involvement in this process, how this process is organized, what are we expecting from new recruits in terms of their qualifications and their training?
Course. So, from the other units, especially the others that I joined in this country, it was a nightmare to get in. We wanted this to make it easy to get in, but only the people we want. So we have an automated system, a bot. If you visit our website, you will be able to chat with the chat bot and fill out your information. That will then filter through who we want and who we don't want, and then they will be put forward to us. Then you will be interviewed by one of our guys who will check who you are, what your previous experience is, and what we are looking for is not necessarily combat experience like myself. I don't consider myself having combat experience before this, but the ability to learn, the willingness to adapt, and preferably previous military experience.
When you interact with folks here in Ukraine, do you do so in Ukrainian? Have you started learning Ukrainian? What's your progress on that?
Because of the blessing of my wife, I have picked up a lot of the language, and I've worked with units with only Ukrainians. You have no choice but to pick up the language.
Yeah.
I try to interact in the street and in the shops as much as I can in the language, which has really developed me,
Yeah.
and they're very good. They understand that the language thing is I'm learning, and they are very lenient with me. But right now, I speak Russian at a good level. Just because I'm from Kharkiv, it's a Russian-speaking city.
Yeah.
Does not mean they're Russian. Most of the fighters come from Kharkiv and places like that. It's just that they, in defiance, have said, even though we're only 30 kilometers from the border, we are not going to let Russia dictate what language we speak. Yep. So because of the patterns of Russian, I also understand some Ukrainian now because of the cases, the sounds. I can read it, I can write in it, and I have really developed my skills in language, which if 4 years ago you would have asked me, you will speak a Slavic language and read it and read those squiggly letters that I thought were just made up, I would have told you were crazy. But no, language has really come along. We also have language lessons
Yeah.
from Azov. We're also getting a qualified language teacher in Azov to do that. So the guys will learn the very basics of what they need on the front line in case they come into contact with Ukrainian units, where they're able to say left, right, front, injured, where I'm injured,
Yeah.
things like this. Yeah. So we are doing that right now.
Excellent.
Personally, I'm very proud of myself because I didn't, like, if you look at languages, first you have like Mandarin and Chinese and Japanese, and just under that you have the Slavic languages, which are very hard.
Yeah.
And I've managed to pick it up pretty well. And I never thought I'd be able to do that, but I have.
That's an unexpected challenge you have overcome
Unexpected
here in
challenge, and
Ukraine.
I have.
Yeah.
And the guys who have been here for a long time have also done the same thing. And
Perfect.
all of us have come to the same conclusion that actually It's a huge advantage. It's great for your mentality.
Totally.
It's great for your brain health as well, because it you know, works, it supports neuron pathways. Yeah, it makes it easier for me to learn new languages after this. It really is just an all-round benefit for me.
Awesome. Thank you for going through that experience and sharing it with us. Can you tell us a little bit more about your current position in the Azov International Battalion? What is it specifically that you are doing right now in this battalion?
Right now, I am the company commander of 1st Platoon. Um, um, Basically, it was my job to set up this platoon and this company from zero, from nothing, in order to be combat effective in a few months, where we will go to the front, where we will integrate with Azov at first. We won't just be thrown on the front. We will integrate with Azov, so we'll see where we can help them, and do that. My role specifically is to help coordinate and facilitate that. My combat role is Fire Control Officer, where I work in the Tactical Operations Center, and I watch the battlefield. I basically dictate the units on the ground. I get to move units, I get to coordinate stuff, I get to move the battlefield, I get to see everything that's going on, I get all the drone feeds from all the different units. I see everything, I know everything, I hear everything. It really, really is something that I love.
What is it like to be a company commander in Azov International Battalion, and what are the challenges that you are currently facing?
It is very difficult because you have so many people to deal with, from so many different countries. So some of them will say, well, our SOPs are this, and someone else will say, well, we do this. So it's been a real struggle, but we've worked through it in order to accumulate into one autonomous unit that works as we need it to. Some of the challenges, to be honest with you, anything I've asked for from Azov, they've given me. Anything I need, they give. Anything that I want, they see about it. So in terms of real challenges, not just small petty ones, so far, touch wood, nothing.
Fingers crossed. Looking at your country, the United Kingdom and Wales in particular, and Ukraine, what commonalities in terms of our cultures and our way of life can you find? What unexpected, perhaps, similarities did you find here?
The small knitted communities.
Mm,
In Wales, we have very small knitted communities, villages, farms, stuff like that. I found that here in Ukraine also. We also have the big cities like Swansea and Cardiff, but in between you have these villages, these townships. That's the same here. And within these places, everyone there knows each other.
yes.
Everyone there is willing to help. In fact, I'll tell you a little story. When I first came here and I didn't know how to speak the language or what to do, a family took me into their home
Really?
and housed me for the night because my train wasn't until the next day.
Yeah.
They fed me. They looked after me. They gave me everything they needed, and they were from one of these little towns. And I believe that they have the same mentality as us in Wales, as if you're very much an insider,
Yeah.
we look after our own,
Exactly.
you know?
Absolutely.
And that is something that that I found here that I really have resonated with. Yeah.
Perfect. So you felt at home in that regard.
Felt at home. I felt at home, yes. And especially in West Ukraine, you have Carpathian Mountains.
Yes.
Carpathian Mountains. That's like Wales for me. We are mountain people.
Okay.
We live in the mountains, in the valleys. For me, that's great.
Reg, you mentioned some combat and non-combat roles. Can you tell us a little bit more about these military professions that are in highest demand right now in the International Battalion? What are those specialties? What are those specializations that you're looking for?
Right now, it is, we're trying to set up good logistics, because logistics wins wars. So we really want to get that right. We want to get that 100% right. We really want drivers, because people will be expected to drive armored vehicles to the front line, so they need to have some balls about them too. Drones, drones, drones. We know the nature of this warfare. drones are king of the battlefield now. They coordinate the artillery, they coordinate the FPVs, they give me the eyes in the sky, and they're my eyes and ears of the battlefield. So there is all of that. There's also further back assets like mortars, Mark 19s, like grenade launchers, like things like this at the back. There's also medical. We really need medical. Things like, so CASEVAC is casualty evacuation. That's from zero line to stabilization point. Then there's medical evacuation. That's from a safe area, third, fourth line, to hospital. We also need that. So what we do need is like doctors and paramedics, but we also need combat medics as well.
Is there any particular book or music or film in Ukrainian culture that you feel very passionate about, and would you recommend it perhaps to folks watching
Oh,
us?
absolutely. There's something I'm very passionate about. It's an artist called Sad Svit. Now, he is a Ukrainian that sings only in Ukrainian, and his music is awesome. It's a genre of Duma. So my favorite song is either Melodist, Sad Svit, Melodist. My absolute favorite is Nebo, which means sky. So also there's Sudno. He's very good as well. So music is a huge one. Sad Svit for me, wonderful,
Thank you for
wonderful.
that recommendation. Have never heard it before from a foreigner within our defense forces. Thank you for sharing. Looking back at your experience in the British Army, what knowledge and what skills have helped you most to be effective in the Azov Brigade?
Now, I'm sure that a lot of Americans will disagree with this, but I believe that the Brits are the most disciplined force in the world. That helped me a lot. It means that I'm always on time. It means that my stuff is already in order. It means that I'm checking pockets, pouches, pleasantries. When I say that, I mean like, are all my magazines, are they going to fall out? Is my rifle ready to go when I need it? Is my go bag ready to go? Is everything in arm's reach? That is what got drilled into me from the start. On top of that, SOPs from the British military is NATO standard, which means that we can all communicate even if language is an issue.
You've been already in Ukraine for 4 years, correct?
Um, Coming up just over 3 years.
Okay, so what is your motivation to keep on fighting, to keep on training your new recruits, to keep on, sticking to defending Ukraine? What is that motivation?
So there's two main ones. One is I want to create a home for them where they can come and they can actually feel at home and feel like they are progressing, that they are doing what they are supposed to be doing, and that they are feeling that they are doing the job that they came here to do in Ukraine. They left behind their family, their children. They came here to do a bloody job. We want them to do that job.
What motivates you to also take on more leadership duties and new leadership responsibilities now as a company commander? Why do you feel that it is so important to move to that leadership position at this moment?
Yeah. So I believe that the difference between a good leader and a bad leader is one knows what he doesn't know, and one doesn't know what he doesn't know. If somebody really wants the position of leadership, they probably shouldn't have it. My motivation for it is that during my time here, I started in the trenches as nothing. Then I was a team leader through election. They elected me. Then I was a platoon commander for a while because of unfortunate circumstances. And I did really well at that. And I found actually that might be leadership, might be my calling. I don't know yet, but it might be my calling. And then from there, it's just progressed and progressed to the point where now I really believe that that is my calling in life. That is something that I was always searching for. That is something that I could never quite find in a good job in the UK as an engineer. That's something I could never find in the biggest house that I could buy. That is something that I could never find in the nicest, fastest car that I could buy. In fact, my calling is looking after my troops on the ground. And when I say me, I mean our unit and my team and getting those boys home.
Thank you for that. Some folks, many folks in Azov say that there is a special bond of brotherhood and spirit of brotherhood that reigns in the Azov Brigade. Um, Tell us about your perception of this. Do you feel that special atmosphere and that special relationship that dominates in this brigade?
When I got to this unit, there was Azov already here, and they were nothing but they helped us off the bus. We arrived late at night. They helped us off the bus. They helped us with our bags. They helped us move the vehicles. They helped us with our rooms. They got the ones who spoke English to say, "Hey, nice to meet you." They introduced themselves, and I felt nothing but real, genuine brotherhood. When you talk about brotherhood from Azov, you didn't join some 488,000th separate faceless brigade. You volunteered to go to the front and fight the enemy, boots on, face to the enemy, and fight. And you both did that. And you see that in each other's faces.
If you could give a message to someone who is considering joining the brigade, what would that message be?
Arrive fit. Arrive not thinking you know everything. Even if you are a Navy SEAL, even if you are a Ranger, keep that in mind, but forget about the NATO stuff for now. First, adapt to the culture here. Learn what we teach you, because we have found the best way to integrate NATO into how it works here. So come here with a clear mind, and come here and just, even if you know everything, just take it on board. Don't go trying to impress us with what you do know and what you don't. That won't impress us. What will impress us is when you don't run away from the first artillery that comes into our position. Okay, so secondary is we get issued good kit here. You don't need to bring lots of helmets, lots of plates. You get issued good kit here.
What piece of advice, practical or perhaps in terms of mindset, would you give to a person coming to Ukraine for the first time? What should they be ready for?
There's a big culture change. So what you might suspect first is that people are being rude. It's not that they're being rude, it's that they have suffered years of oppression, and therefore they do not inquire too much. They keep themselves to themselves. They do not smile at you because that seems like I'm doing something to you or that it's weird. Not all time, but you can expect this because they have been through years of hardship. Once you get past that, you realize it's actually a massive benefit, because I don't need to go into a shop and do lots of small talk and pretend to smile and pretend to be happy when I'm not. I can just say, "Hi, 2 packets of Marlboro Red, please." And they'll be like, "Yep, no problem. This is how much." Beep, done. Goodbye. That's it. Once you get used to that, that's much better. But also, you can interact with them in the way you would in the UK.
Yeah.
And because you're a foreigner, especially if you speak in their language somewhat or try,
Yeah.
they will also reciprocate that with a smile. "Oh, hello, you are Englishman. Wow, oh, wow." So there is that too. So yeah, that's what I found here. The similarities as well, especially from Wales. I don't know so much about I lived in England, I worked in England. I know about Wales, the Scotland's Ireland and Northern Ireland. We're Celts. We're very much different people. We weren't conquered by the Anglo-Saxons and stuff like that. We were tribal, we were warriors, and that's what I found here about Ukraine. Now, I'm not saying that in England there isn't warriors and there's no one there that could beat me up. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is you had lots of culture influence in England, like France, like French. That didn't happen there. We preserved our culture. Now we still speak Welsh. We still have our coal mines. We still have our homes in the mountains, which would be a stupid place to put a village, but
Yeah.
we did it anyway because we're Welsh and we'll do what we want. And I found very much that's what Ukrainians are like also.
Excellent. So you feel that Ukrainians are defending their identity and their way of life similar to Wales, where you come from?
The best thing that's ever happened to the identity of Ukraine is Russia messing with them. Because before that, it was like, well, I'm not going to get too involved in politics. Now, everybody's behind the same flag, the same banner, and the same idea. The worst thing that Putin could have done to unify Ukraine was to attack it. But he did, and here we are now. And we are all very much sure, those who were unsure before about, I don't know about politics, I'm not too involved, very much those people now are, no, I am Ukrainian, I am from Ukraine. I speak my language, and I read my books in my language, and watch my films in my language, and listen to my songs in my language. And he has unified this country like never before.
There are still ongoing discussions on the importance of continuing to support Ukraine in many Western countries. As Azov servicemen, what would you tell folks in your home country, in the UK, about the importance of supporting Ukraine? Why is that still so important to keep on supporting Ukraine in the face of the Russian aggression?
My message to the United Kingdom is that the stuff that you have heard about Azov is Russian propaganda. And I'm not just saying that because anything that disagrees with Ukraine is Russian propaganda. They have spent millions and millions trying to make Azov out to be Nazis, terrorists, and all this stuff. Why have they spent millions on doing that? It is because in 2014, when they invaded, they put up a fight. Azov put up more of a fight to them, to the second army in the world, than the entire Ukrainian army did at the time. They are trying to discredit, they are trying to instill fear, and they are trying to get people like you who want to come here and help and support to stop that. That's my message to you at home. And to the politicians, please, give us what we need. We are doing the best with what we can. We're doing well. We're holding the line against Russia. Let me say that again. Against Russia. Look at a map. You'll see what I'm talking about.
Yeah, what traits of character and what characteristics do you expect from new recruits in the Azov International Battalion?
I expect an open mind. What I can deal with is someone with no military experience. I can deal with that. I can teach that. You can be taught that. I was taught that. What I can't deal with is someone who has no ability to take on information, to admit when they're wrong, and especially lying. Zero tolerance for lying, thieving, and corruption. Zero.
Crystal clear. Reg, tell us a bit more about the importance of English language proficiency. Why is it so crucial for folks joining the Azov International Battalion to speak good English?
So we operate on the ground in English. If you are coming here, by all means, Duolingo is great. Learn a little bit of basic Ukrainian, but all of our operations, including everything from the top down, will be done in the English language so that you will not be expected to be put into a bunch of Ukrainians, not understand the language, and be thrown onto the front line, not knowing what's going on.
Reg, what do new recruits expect from your leadership when they join your unit? What can you give them as a leader of this company?
I can give them as much as I can give them, and I will give them as much as I can give them. But in terms of what our leadership style looks like, is not like top to bottom. Ours is more side to side. We are not looking at the top man as we do everything he says without question. We are looking more sideways, where we are taking information from all of our guys about some people might have specializations in things that the guy at the top doesn't. we will look to him for that information. We are looking for more of a planning process that it looks more like this than like this. It looks more horizontal than vertical, because we believe that that is the most effective way, and we have found through experience in battle that that is the most effective way, especially against an army like Russia, who is very much top down. You kill their commander, their whole unit is out of the fight. That is what we will avoid.
Yeah. What are you preparing the new recruits for? What is the most challenging aspect of the ongoing war that you would like to tell our new recruits about?
So, roughly every 6 months, the war changes completely. The phases of the war is ever changing. This is because we learn something and implement it, then the Russians counter it. Then we counter that. Then they counter us. So 6 months ago was a completely different war to now. At the beginning, there was no drones. I could do reconnaissance freely without really fear of drones seeing me that much. Now I can't move without a drone seeing me 6 kilometers before I even get to the front. It's ever changing, and we need to be aware of that. And we have adapted that into our plan in order to give that to recruits so that they are up to date from where the war started, where it went, where it's going, and everything in between.
Excellent. How can international servicemen in the Azov International Battalion help new recruits, especially if they already have significant experience here in Ukraine?
What we tend to do, and what we have found works best, is that we battle buddy. Now, for people not in the military, battle buddy is someone who is your best friend, who you live with, who you get to know very well, and he will be someone who has lots of experience here, maybe even speaks the language, and anytime you need to go into town, anytime you need to do anything, he will be there to help you and assist you at all times. That is what we found works best.
What growth opportunities do you think new recruits in the Azov International Battalion can expect here in Azov, both as military professionals and as individuals?
Well, individuals like myself, you will turn from a child to a man. You will. That will happen. In terms of opportunities, I came here as nobody. I am now a commander. That wasn't done through kleptocracy. That was only because meritocracy. That's how we work here. I was the best man for that job at that particular time, and I chose a good team around me and made sure that they were also lifted up in order to help me. So the opportunities are there. We know that we are good enough to do this, and that a lot of us have been here. Some of us have served even longer than the Ukrainians who were commanding us in the last units. So they're trying to tell us to bring us up to their standards, and we have been in the military sometimes for a decade, 2, 3 decades, and they only joined 6 months ago and never been to the front. That will not happen here.
All right, final question, if I may. For those watching us, what's a good way to support the Azov International Battalion, apart from joining and fighting side by side with you and your brothers in arms? How can folks in the UK, in Europe, support the battalion?
So, unfortunately, it is what it is. Money is king. Now, I'm very lucky to come from a country that has a lot of money, same as like USA, Scandinavia. Be careful where you send your money, but if you send it to someone like Azov, we have 100% accountability of where the money goes, and we even send you receipts to where your money went. If you do want to not fight but to help, whatever you can give, if it's 20 pounds, okay, dollars, or whatever it is that you want, try and give, because that comes straight to us on the front line who are defending the line against Russia, between Russia and Europe. So whatever you can, give. And it doesn't have to be just money. You can send packages. What we really like actually is cards from children. We like cards from children saying, my name is this, I am from Norway, we appreciate your efforts in Ukraine, thank you. And we will actually see that as a massive morale boost.
Yeah.
That's huge. It doesn't need to just be money, it can be that.
Exactly. That's really insightful. Thank you so much for this conversation. I learned a lot, and I hope our viewers as well. Great pleasure speaking to you.
It's been a pleasure as always. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.